What is going on, Dolphins? It is your boy Dillon. I am back with you for another Dolphins with Dillon, and I got a couple things I want to talk to you about. First of all, though, you know, everybody calls today Victory Monday, so you know, as fans, you know, we can revel in the triumph and glory of our team for at least another week. So that's good. It's good for us. You know, they got to turn the page, though. You know, they got to get ready for the Oakland Raiders coming to town on Sunday. I'll be doing my preview video for that on Saturday. I'll be watching game film of our game and their game over the course of the week, as I always do, so I can break this down for you. And but in the meantime, you know, I got some things I want to talk about, some news. I haven't read a whole bunch of you know, news articles to you recently. One, because there's been a lot to talk about, and two, because I just kind of been generalizing the things that have been going on for you as opposed to actually like reading articles. But since there's not a whole lot today, I do have an Adam Gase press conference. I actually do have a couple articles in particular that I want to read to you and talk about a little bit. So but before I do that, there's a couple other things that I want to talk about. One is Devontae Parker, and you know, you'll see in the press conference today that I add into the video. But you know, Adam Gase was saying that he's well, Parker had said that, you know, he wasn't really sure why he wasn't, you know, activated. He feels he's ready. Gase said today that, you know, he's fine, he's healthy, but next week he'll be, you know, 1 week stronger. And you know, he said there was a lot of things that went into a lot of moving parts into that decision, so you know, it is what it is. But he should be back for next week completely healthy for the Raiders game, so we should be able to start incorporating him into the plan, which is good. You know, I know Dolphins have a mixed bag of emotions on him and stuff like that, but I do think that he is going to be good for this team. I think finally, I know he, well, from what I can tell, you know, he is eager and anxious to get back out there, and I feel good about this team as a whole. And I have, like, you know, even this past game, I'll say this, you know, there was not a point in the game in which I thought we were going to lose. Where in years past, you know, if the offense started struggling and blah, 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 you know, and then they start putting some points on the board, you know, I would get nervous. And I know, you know, all you Dolphins know what I'm talking about. I would start getting nervous and be like, oh man, you know, they might blow this. But I really and truly, genuinely did not feel at any point during the game that we were going to lose. That, you know, I was like, oh man, you know, some stupid mistakes and blah, blah, blah. But it didn't feel like an overwhelming shift to me, right? So I feel just really confident in this team. I feel really good about this team in general as a whole. So I feel good about Parker. I think he is ready to prove the doubters wrong, and I think he's going to have some, I think he is going to add that next element, that big body receiver to the passing game. And, you know, I think as the year goes on, Gesicki is going to get more involved and stuff like that. So, you know, I do expect, look, bottom line is our defense is playing really well, really well. As long as they can keep playing at the level that they are playing at, and special teams as well, both of them are playing extremely well. So if those two phases of the game can keep playing at the level they're playing at and continue to grow and get better, for one, I think we'll be all right. But I think that'll buy the, you know, I think it's going to buy this offense enough time to be able to get its, you know, cylinders pumping, you know, at full bore, you know, just burning away, going, you know, clicking, you know, getting it all just down right, getting Ryan Tannehill fully comfortable back there, getting this offensive line settled in. I still do hope that they add somebody to that line, like I said, even if for no other reason than just depth. But and so I think this offense is going to come together and get, you know, much, much better. as the year progresses. I think the whole team is. And I think that, you know, like right now, everybody's talking about the Kansas City Chiefs, and they are a good team, and they got some weapons. Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Kareem Hunt. They got some weapons that are just doing some things. But I think our offense is going to be a lot like that. I think we're going to start seeing that, you know, this team is going to be opening up on people. We're just going to be putting, you know, all kinds of points on the board. So I'm excited about that. But I think that Parker is going to be a you know, big part of that, a key factor in it, because he does add an element to that receiving core that we don't have otherwise. You know, I mean, because all of our receivers, as great as they are, you know, I love Kenny Stills. I love the addition of Albert Wilson and Danny Amendola. I love Jakeem Grant. But they're all smaller, faster receivers. And it's great that we have a ton of speed. But we do need, you know, at least there has to be at least a couple, you know, big body guys on the field that can go up and get contested balls and so on and so forth. We have Gesicki now at the tight end position. Our running backs are really good out of the backfield, but we need that wide receiver that can be that. And I think Parker is and can be and will be, and I think he's ready to be. So that's Parker. There's another interesting tidbit of information regarding a wide receiver that I wanted to talk about, and that is, as you guys may know, the Cleveland Browns had put out a couple days ago that they were getting ready to release Josh Gordon, their former he was former number 1 pick, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure that's accurate. I don't remember what year. I don't really remember that much about him. I know because he's you know, he hasn't been talked about too much, you know, recently, because he's had all those suspensions and stuff like that. But anyway, so Josh Gordon, I know a little bit about him. So they're getting, you know, they were getting ready to release him if they couldn't find a trade partner. Well, today it would seem that they have found a trade partner. And who might that be? Well, none other than our division rivals, New England Patriots. Which is interesting because their receiving core has been lacking of some, you know, major playmakers. Edelman's going to be out all the way through our upcoming game with them. So he still has two more games of suspension. But they do have Gronk. Their receivers are just kind of whatever. You know, they utilize them though, and they make it work. Although they did just lose yesterday to the Jacksonville Jaguars, which was fantastic. But having Josh Gordon in that lineup could be problematic. Now, I watched a Sims and Lefko episode the other day, and they talked about it, and Sims was saying that, you know, if there's any place that could straighten that kid out, it would be New England. Well, he's in New England now. He's about to be in New England. So we'll see. Can they get him, you know, help him get his act together? I don't know. I mean, he's had continuous problems. He seems to be still having problems. So, look, from a personal standpoint, you know, from the kid, I hope he gets his life together. I hope he, you know, quits doing whatever stupid shit he's doing. From a football standpoint, though, professional football standpoint, from a Dolphins standpoint, I hope it doesn't work out, because if Josh Gordon does, you know, fit in there, and he could be a major weapon for them. He would be like our Devontae Parker, right? So, and you know, he hasn't done shit since 2013. I think that's when he got drafted, actually, now that I think about it, because I believe that was his rookie year, and he had you know, did great things. Crazy numbers, and you know, everybody was talking, but then he started having, you know, he was kind of Johnny Manziel-ish, you know, he just started having all of these, you know, off the field issues and getting suspensions and stuff like that, and so, you know, he's fizzled away, but like I said, it could be potentially problematic. I'm not too worried about it. I think at the end of the day, you know, he's super rusty. He hasn't done anything in a couple years. You know, he's just that gives him 2 weeks to get into the scheme up there in New England. Plus, he seems to be having off the field issues currently. I mean, he just got, you know, the Browns are getting rid of him. They're fed up with him. They're cutting ties. And I think that, you know, even if he does play against us, in that game in a couple weeks, I'm pretty sure Xavier Howard is going to be all over him. They're going to stick him on him, and I'm pretty sure he'll be fine. I mean, X is a beast, so I'm not worried about that. Anyway, so there is that, though. I did want to briefly touch on that because I found that to be interesting. But anyway, so getting into a couple things here, a couple of these articles, just a couple quick ones, but there was some interesting topics and information and stuff that I wanted to get into. So this first one is from Dolphin Maven, M-A-V-E-N, Dolphin Maven. Dolphins newcomers figure prominently in 2-0 start, and this is huge. Let me read before I comment. So, there is a simple reason the Dolphins have been lost in the wilderness for nearly 2 decades. A litany of dumb decisions on draft picks, free agent signings, and trades. That is absolutely true. As Dolphins, we know that our front office has not exactly been, all that great with their decisions in the past couple decades, like he said. I believe that, they've been riding that ship over the past 3 years, and that's why, since Adam Gase got into town, and because we've been building and modeling the team after Gase. And that's great, and it's finally gonna start, coming to fruition, in my opinion. No need to revisit all the flops and misguided decision makers who muddled up the start of the millennium. Rather, to recognize that the 2-0 start is largely reflected in the front office getting it right for a change in the offseason and recent drafts. Absolutely. And plays to what I was just saying. Recent acquisitions were all over Sunday's 20-12 win against the Jets. The signing of receiver Albert Wilson has more than made up for the departure of Jarvis Landry. Good. So, and this is not the first article I've read recently that has said that. So can we finally stop talking about Jarvis Landry? He's with the Browns. They're doing their thing. I mean, I'm a huge fan. I love Juice. I have his jersey. I wish he was still a Dolphin. We drafted him. But at the end of the day, he doesn't fit Adam Gase. And that's huge. That's the thing that Dolphins fans need to understand, right? Is a team starts with the head coach. A team starts with the head coach, right? So, I mean, look at Bill Belichick, right? Anyway, but look at Don Shula back in the day. I think Gase is our next Don Shula. It starts with him. That's why, anybody who says anything, even if we lose the rest of our games this season, which is not going to happen, but even if that was the case, Gase is not going to be gone, because I think, Stephen Ross understands that Gase is the guy, and he is going to be the next Shula. He needs time. Now, we're going to have a really good year, and that's just going to prove it even further, but I'm saying, though, Gase is our guy. Dolphins need to get, understand that first and foremost, and he has finally got the team, well, at least, most of the way there. It's probably at least a good 95% of the team that he envisions, but probably close to all the way at this point. He got rid of some people. So anyway, point is, we can stop talking about Juice. He's not, relevant to our team anymore until we play him, but we don't play him this year. Wilson, the Port St. Lucie product, confirmed that on his first touchdown as a Dolphin, grabbing Ryan Tannehill's pass on a quick crossover the middle and using his speed to take it 29 yards to put Miami up 14-0. Wilson is averaging 11.33 yards a catch and is also being utilized in the running game. Add in former Patriot Danny Amendola leading the team with 8 receptions, and the chemistry with Tannehill is already evident. The signing of Frank Gore has been a revelation. Not only did the ageless running back become the NFL's 4th all-time leading rusher on Sunday, his conversion on 3rd and 19 on the final drive was a dagger to the Jets. Gore drifted out of the backfield and not only made a spectacular catch, but scampered just far enough for a vital first down. Meanwhile, the defense is better than it was with Ndamukong Suh. Okay, having said that, can we now move on from that conversation? Let's all admit, he was flashy. I wanted him too. I was even saying at that time, oh man, if we can just sign Ndamukong Suh. We got him. What happened? We didn't even do all that great. He costs too much. We need that money elsewhere. Check this. So we are better with Ndamukong Suh. It's only 2 games, but we are currently ranked 8th overall in defense and 4th against the run. Guys, Come on. And our defense is clearly creating turnovers. I think we already have like 6 or something on the year in 2 games. That's amazing. Amazing. So let's be excited about that. Let's not get too excited. It's, you know, one game at a time, but there are good signs that are starting to show. I mean, look, if we continue to perform as well as we have and improve and get better against the Raiders and improve upon those stats, then it starts to become a pattern. Then it's 3 games in. Then you're like, okay, right? So we've done really well in these first 2 games. Veteran defensive end Robert Quinn has solidified the D-line. He recorded his first sack Sunday and put heat on Jets rookie quarterback Sam Darnold much of the day. First-round pick Micah Fitzpatrick has similar impact in the secondary, proving true to his college reputation of having a knack for finding his way to the ball. The Jets tested him early, and he held his own in coverage. According to my colleague Alfredo Ortiega, the Jets targeted Fitzpatrick directly 4 times for a would-be 95 yards, but netted no completions against him. So the ball had traveled a total of 95 yards through the air towards Minka, but he didn't allow a single completion. That kid's going to be phenomenal. In one instance, he was all over difficult Quincy Enunwa on a deep pass near the Dolphins' goal line, which fell incomplete. In another sequence, Fitzpatrick limited Enunwa to short gains with tackles on back-to-back catches, though one of them was enough for a first down. TheDraftNetwork.com said of Fitzpatrick, "It's looking like they might have a Pro Bowl player as a rookie." This kid is special, man, and they were amazing pick. I'm so happy with the pick. He is going to be a huge staple of our defense for years to come. Back there with Rashad Jones and TJ, bro. Oh my God, we have one of the sickest safety trios in the league for sure. Pro Football Focus gave 2017 draftee Devon Godshaw the highest grade among Dolphins defensive linemen at 84.8. In addition, Raekwon McMillan, the 2017 second-round pick, making his second career start at middle linebacker, had his first career fumble recovery after Kiko Alonso jarred the ball loose with a hard hit on Robbie Anderson. Jerome Baker, McMillan's former Ohio State teammate and this year's third-round pick, is a work in progress but showing promise while starting at outside linebacker. He has been out of position at times, but he has the speed to compensate while he learns. Not a newcomer, but Xavier Howard is blossoming as a star at cornerback. The 2016 second-round draft pick has 5 interceptions in his past 7 games. Howard's interception in the end zone, 1 play after Tannehill fumbled at the Miami 12, prevented the Jets from making a game of it. Howard deftly outmaneuvered Terrell Pryor, who later acknowledged he was responsible for the pick, not Darnold. I said it to him after the game. I said, "I hope you can forgive me. I'll make sure I'm there next time. That's not on Sam, and I wish I could go on a stat for me. I wish it could go on a stat for me. That's all I keep thinking about is that play," Pryor told New York media. That one was on Howard beating him to the spot. A week ago, the signing of veteran Frank guard Josh Sitton appeared to be another upgrade as he made his presence felt in the opener. The torn rotator cuff that knocked Sitton out of the season doesn't negate the wisdom of acquiring him. And he'll be back for next year and looks to be a prominent role, or play a prominent role, rather. And let's see. Okay, so then there's this other article from Cameron Wolfe from ESPN that I wanted to read real quick. But just again to reiterate, man, everything is coming together with this team. So we have a lot of reason to be hopeful, Dolphins. Anyway, so AFC East leading Dolphins believe Adam Gase has something special. After a few questions circled around his team's early success on Sunday, Adam Gase deadpanned with one of his soundbite-worthy chimes. "It started for us in April. It's just nobody realized it, so we'll just keep getting better and keep surprising people," the Miami Dolphins head coach said. Absolutely. People sleeping, man. It was a not-so-subtle shot at his team's doubters. A few questions later, someone asked Gase about the versatility of Albert Wilson, who has played receiver, running back, and Wildcat quarterback thus far and scored a touchdown Sunday. Gase, remembering an offseason story that questioned if the Dolphins had a logical plan for Wilson, used Sunday as a perfect time to fire back. "That's what happens when you have a plan for a guy when you sign him as a free agent," Gase responded. I love the way he quips, man. He's so clever, he's so good, and he loves it's great. He loves to rub shit in people's faces when they fucking talk shit, and then he's like, "See, I told you so." It's great. I love that he's doing that. I told you. But he's super like humble about it too. He's like, nah, we don't care about what happened last week. We're on this. You know, we're 0-0 right now. We gotta, you know, prepare. Nobody in the locker room gives a shit about what happened last week anymore, or in the last game. We've moved on. It's, you know, a new season, a new game, blah blah blah. Which is great because you gotta be like that. Anyway, sometimes Gase can't help it. Occasionally criticism gets past his wall and he hears it. Let him prove you wrong and a snarky Gase comes out. It's great. I love this dude. As much is clear, Gase has a plan. The Dolphins believe Gase is building a team that's going to surprise the league. And if he and they are right, he won't hesitate to remind those who doubted his ability to get it done. There's something special going on here, defensive end Robert Quinn said. I'm just a piece of the puzzle here. Once it all comes together, it's a beautiful picture. Gase believes it might take all year for the finished product of the 2018 Miami Dolphins to be realized, but he does agree it can be something special. Well, of course, it has to take the entire year because we have to see how we do each and every game, and whether or not, if we're going to surprise the league, it's going to be stealing the division from the New England Patriots. It's going to be beating them at home in 2 weeks at Gillette Stadium, you know, and sweeping all of our divisional opponents, winning the East, you know, going to the AFC Championship game, or maybe even making it all the way to the big one, right? So, you know, it's going to take a lot, but I think that we are well on the way. You're just trying to avoid peaks and valleys, Gase said. It's still early, but the Dolphins have a few more folks on the bandwagon than they did 2 weeks ago. They will likely be favored to knock off the 0-2 Oakland Raiders, who have to make a cross-country trek to Miami. If that happens, then the Dolphins would be 3-0 and a few more will jump on. And that hope to become a playoff contender becomes more than optimistic noise. We knew that was going to happen, Wilson said about doubters turned supporters. We're not surprised where we're at. I just hold a higher expectation for this team. The Dolphins are beginning to take on the personality of their coach, particularly in terms of bold, unabashed confidence. I love it, dude. I love it. I love it so much. I'm having a really hard time, not just like smiling like an idiot this whole time while I read this, but I really want my joyous emotions to emanate through my video to you guys, because this is something, it really is something special that is going on here. After a year of chaos in 2017, Gase believes his team is better prepared for adversity. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and this team is strong. This team is strong. He also believes some of the Dolphins' best players are their best leaders this year. This team is battle-tested. We've been through a lot, safety Rashad Jones said. We've got resilient guys in this locker room and a great coaching staff. Dolphins quarterback Ryan Tannehill has completed 73% of his passes. That includes a lot of short passes, but he has had some success on deep balls, such as the 75-yard touchdown he threw to Kenny Stills in Week 1. Gase, not too long ago considered by some as one of the NFL's premier up-and-coming offensive minds, relishes the chance to spout off about his quarterback. He makes sure that we complete the ones when they're open. His accuracy down the field is probably one of the better ones in the league, which I love saying, considering that I was told he can't throw the deep ball. Gase joked. I always like bringing that up. If the Dolphins continue this pace, it won't be the last reminder he shares either. Alright, so look, one final note here, because I totally went hella longer with this video than I intended to, but I couldn't help myself. So anyway, one last thing though is we gotta be like our team a little bit, Dolph fans. We have to be, you know, as fans, we have a little bit more freedom to get, you know, optimistic and crazy and pumped up, you know, about it, and, you know, rah, 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 and we're gonna go 16-0 and blah, blah, blah. But let's keep in mind, let's keep it, you know, let's keep it a little business, Dolphins. Let's remember it is a 1 week. That way, you know, we don't get ourselves too high or too low, right? So that way, you know, we don't pump ourselves up so much that we think we're gonna, you know, go undefeated the whole year and then we lose a game and we're like, oh, it's the worst thing that happened ever, right? Because, you know, obviously if we won 15 games, 12 games, then that would be a really great year. So anyway, point is, let's make sure that we keep ourselves a little bit tempered, but at the end of the day, our Dolphins are 2-0. They have a lot of good things cooking, and I'm super excited about how the rest of the year is going to play out. I cannot wait for this Oakland game. God, imagine, guys, we go 3-0 to start the season. We go to Gillette Stadium after that. Just imagine. I've been saying we're going to do it. We'll see soon enough. It is a couple weeks away, but imagine we go into Gillette Stadium against the Patriots 3-0, leading the division, because even if they win this week, we'd still be in the lead for the division. So imagine that, right? And then imagine how sweet it would be to finally knock off the New England Patriots in their house. And if we do that, if we can manage to do that, I guarantee, absolutely guarantee, we will sweep our entire division. Because that means that we would have already beat the Jets in their home. We would have already then beat New England in their home. Tom Brady is 7-9 when he comes down to Florida. We can beat him in our stadium again this year. The Bills are trash, and probably will be trash for a good the whole year, whatever. Josh Allen is their quarterback now, but they are not good. We should be able to sweep them. Now again, 1 week at a time, but if we can manage to beat the Patriots in Gillette Stadium, I will guarantee after that game that we sweep. Well, honestly, frankly, if we do lose to them, I think that's the only game we will possibly lose within the division. I think that we, at a minimum, will go 5-1. But imagine that. Just imagine how sweet that is. So, I have a question for you guys. Do you think we can beat New England in Gillette? And why? If you think we can, tell me why. If you think we can't, tell me why. And, I sit on the fence. I'm staying optimistic and think we can do it, so I'm leaning that way. But, I do understand the arguments of anybody who wants to jump on that other side. It's going to be a tough game, but if we can steal that one, just imagine. Anyway, with that, guys, I'm going to end it here. I definitely went way longer than I was expecting to with this video, but I hope you guys like it. If you do, subscribe, share it with your friends, post it on Facebook, Twitter, wherever you want to post it. Just get it out there, spread it around to the world. Let's continue to grow this. Make sure you hit the like button. Leave your questions, comments, concerns, all of that. And with that said, guys, 2-0. Let's get ready for this next game. I will see y'all soon, and fins up.
And I explained that to him, and I also wanted to, it's a time thing with him as far as being healed and, closer to 100%. So one more week wasn't going to be a bad thing, and I explained that to him the night before.
Did the trainers tell you that playing him yesterday may have a risk at all, putting a pushback or
no,
setback?
But it's just he's going to be stronger this week than he was last.
Evan, can you take us through the 3rd and 19 play to Gore? Was he where the pass was supposed to go?
Well, no, but Ryan did a good job of pushing up in the pocket, and really his eyes had to come down because we were taking a shot. We were actually going for the touchdown. So he did a good job, and Frank was waiting for the defender that looked like he was going to blitz, and the guy didn't come right away, so Frank leaked out, and that guy ended up coming. So Ryan pushed up, and that's why Frank was wide open. And it was funny because Matt Burke was saying that Frank scored like a 60-yard touchdown against him because the exact same thing happened when he was in Detroit when they were playing San Francisco. So Frank has a knack of knowing when the right time to go is and when the right time to stay in.
Adam, in the bigger picture of that possession, you guys run out the clock. I don't think you have any penalties, or you might have had, I guess you had a negative play on 3rd and 19, but to set that up. But what does that tell you about your team when it's able to do that in that fashion?
Well, we're making improvement. That was something that we've made a big point of emphasis is turnover margin and and our pre-snap penalties more than anything. You know, if you have penalties within the game, you know, whether it's holding or pass interference or, you know, things like that, that, as we say, aggressive penalties, we can live with that, and we'll correct those in individual as far as technique. But the pre-snap stuff we can fully control, and that's really been one of the things. If we could improve that, it prevents us from being in long yardage situations or giving away plays. You know, we get a sack and we have an offsides. You know, it's just something that's like football karma right there. You know, where you have a good play happen and it gets taken away. You know, if you do it right every down, there's a good chance that good things will happen.
As you watch the game again, you see on film the effort it took just before halftime to stop Herndon from getting in the end zone with Rashad and Bobby. Can you talk about that?
I mean, it was a phenomenal play. I mean, it was great effort. I mean, that's really what it was. I mean, I liked what Matt called, and those guys executed that thing, but it took everything both those guys had to strain and finish that play, and, you know, we were on the right side of that one.
And in 2 weeks, there's always these stats that come out. Teams that are 2-0 have this % chance of getting in, and teams that are 0-2 are in this much trouble and all that good stuff. Just the kind of team that you have to caution that, you know, you have to warn them against that. It's only been 2 games, or do you have to address that with these guys at all, do you think?
I mean, not really. We've talked about it so much leading up to this that everything that's said outside our building is irrelevant. And the only thing that matters is this week. I mean, it's the truth. I've been 6-0 and not made the playoffs. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, you got to play every week. You got to reset it every week. You got to work to get better. Try not to be a team that's up and down. Trying to be consistent. You're going to lose games in this league. That's why there's only been one undefeated team that's ever won it all, and another team didn't win the last game. So nobody really cares about it if you won them all. You don't win the last one, nobody cares.
What year was that? You were 6-0 and didn't make the playoffs?
09.
Adam, I'm sure every coach everywhere emphasizes turnover margin. Was that really something you all emphasized more this offseason than the previous? It was.
Yeah, because we work on it every day, whether it's ball security or tackling or turnover drill. And we've carved out time in our practice to say this is how important it is. We're going to work on it every day.
Did you guys miss Josh Sitton yesterday, and if so, in what ways?
I think you're always going to, you know, when you have a guy that's a really good player, you know, it benefits us when he's out there, you know. But I thought Ted did a good job. You know, he executed what we were asking him to do. He plays physical. I love the way that, you know, when he's uncovered, the way that he can help clean out the pocket. You know, he brings good energy to the sideline. I mean, that group does a good job. Those guys play together. You know, it's a fun group to be around.
And with the continuity in offense, I think really showed when Albert Wilson was, you know, calling his teammates to celebrate for the touchdown. What did you think of that? And overall, how's your offense?
I wasn't paying attention to that at the time. I was excited that, you know, basically I called a really bad play versus what they called, and our guys made it work. And I didn't hear about that till when we got back last night, and I love that because I love how our locker room is. I love how those guys are on the field, off the field, in the locker room, outside this. I mean, these guys are tight. It's fun. It's fun to be around, and it's enjoyable to watch those guys go through a game and the ups and downs of a game, and they don't waver. You know, they just keep going out there, putting their head down, trying to help make plays, trying to do the right things, and I feel like there's accountability with each other.
Have you ever coached a player skill set like Albert's?
No, I think I've been around a few guys over my time that were similar, but I don't think as dynamic as what he is, because he's legitimately a guy that he's almost built like a running back, but he plays like a wide receiver as far as when he's running routes.
You know, I guess as a play caller.
Oh, I love it. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, it's just, I mean, there's no limit. I mean, of all the things we can do, it's like you can go watch some really good stuff, and, you know, people would be like, you can't do that. You can do whatever. I mean, because he can do everything.
And Cordray Tankersley was inactive. Cornell Armstrong was out there playing special teams. Cordray, does he not offer enough on special teams, or I
think it's just one of those spots where it's, you know, there's a chance that could just keep going back and forth. You know, That happens sometimes, you know. If you don't do as well one game, next guy gets a shot, and then you just kind of evaluate that and then go back and start over the next week and then challenge those guys in practice and to basically say, hey, best guy gets a dress. You know, I mean, that's just what it is. It's competition. You know, I think he's making a lot of strides at corner. We just need him to get a little better at special teams, which is, you know, something that's fairly new to him, you know, over the last 2 years. And the good thing is I like our depth at that position. So, I mean, the fact that we got multiple guys that could be active or inactive, that's a positive.
Adam, you guys, it's early, but on top of the AFC East, is that something that you think your team can maintain a mindset of or want them to have that mindset?
I mean, if you ask half these guys, they probably don't even know. They don't care. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. The division stuff right now is irrelevant. I mean, we're focused on, you know, they're going to get things corrected from yesterday, and then we'll turn our attention on Wednesday to the next team, and that's what our focus is going to be. No one cares what you're doing right now. I mean, when it's December and it's really coming down to the end, and you may need to. I mean, half the time you don't even care then. You're just playing games and you're trying to win them all.
What are you saying out of Matt Hawk, and how important has he been in winning the field position battle, keeping the opposition inside their own 20?
Yeah, that was one of our, you know, that was a big point for us this week was flipping the field, and he's a big part of that, and he's done an outstanding job. I think what he had 6 punts, and he had 5 of them were inside the 20. I mean, that's phenomenal. I mean, to make, you know, a rookie quarterback, make him drive 80-plus yards every time, you know, I mean, in his second game, that's what you want to do. You want to try to put that kind of pressure on him, and, you know, I'm sure next time we see him, you know, he's going to be that much better as far as the quarterback goes. So might have to change our game, you know, our approach to that. So I think with what we asked them to do and what we asked the offense to do and the defense to do, I thought we played good complementary football for the most part. I still think there's some things we need to. I'd rather not go let up a touchdown, fumble. You know, that's kind of one of those ones that was not complementary football. So, but then Xavier did a great job of getting that interception, so that helped us.
Small sample size, obviously, just the 2 games in, but after 20 months off or whatever it was, has Ryan's accuracy surprised you? How sure he's been?
No, I mean, that's how he's always. I mean, as maybe it's been too long. I don't know. It seemed like it was a long time ago, but I always felt like he was that way. You know, he does a good job. He makes sure that we complete the ones that when they're open. You know, his accuracy down the field's probably one of the better ones in the league, which I love saying, considering that I was told you can't throw the deep ball. So I always like bringing that up. But he's doing a good job. He's being efficient in the short passing game. And, you know, there's some things that we got to clean up, and we will. And I think the more he plays, he'll get in the rhythm will just get better and better. You know, I think he's really enjoying playing with that group of wide receivers and tight ends and running backs. And those guys are all feeding off each other.
Guys in the locker room talked about feeling like they're building some special here, but still not, you know, still have room to go to fulfill, I guess, that finished product. How far do you feel like you guys are?
It's going to take all year. I mean, really, that's what you're working for. You're just trying to avoid peaks and valleys. You just don't want to have extreme highs and then you're down and then you're back up. Then you want to just keep climbing and just getting better and better every week. And you want to put out the right product on the field where you feel like you're improving. It may not always result in a win, but you see on tape, because when you start playing really good teams that are elite, you know, it's 50-50 sometimes. You have to do everything you can to put yourself in position to win it in the end, because a lot of times in this league, it comes down to the last drive.
Adam, how did Gesicki do as a blocker yesterday, and were there some things in the passing game you just didn't get to that you wanted to?
No, I mean, we had a couple opportunities in the passing game to get him the ball. It didn't work out. They did a good job. They cheated to him a little bit. You know, when he gets singled up on a linebacker. The good thing is we weren't the only ones that actually watched him in college. So, I mean, defensive coordinators are aware of what he can do. So they're taking him away. The ball's got to go somewhere else, and that's good. I mean, I'm glad Ryan's doing the right thing and not trying to force it to him. You know, I like the fact that he's not concerned about how many targets he's getting. He's playing. I know this. He's taking a lot of pride trying to become a better blocker, and he had a really good block on Drake's touchdown. I mean, Drake made a great cut, and Mike did a great job of walling the D end off, and there was a nice little lane there, and Kenyon hit it, and we got in the end zone. And that was a big play for us because got us touchdown after a turnover. So I think Mike's improving. He's going to keep improving because the guy is very prideful. He loves doing this. He studies. He works hard. Good things will happen for him.
You mentioned turnover margin and penalties as points of emphasis, and you're doing pretty well in them. Are there other points of emphasis, and how are you doing? I mean, third down offense, third down defense, etc.
I bring up the ones that we're doing good in.
Shrewd strategy.
But missed tackles, yards after contact were one of the ones that we've made a big emphasis on. We need to improve on our tackling, which I think that's just always going to be a constant theme. Throughout the whole league. I mean, I know a lot of teams are talking about the same thing. I think anytime you see a team not play as well as they want on defense or special teams, it comes down to that, where you're giving guys extra opportunity after, you actually probably have them stopped.
Your first and second down defense seemed excellent. I think their average third down was 3rd and 10. Might have had like 5 that were over 10. What were you doing on first and second downs? I mean, it looked like you were stopping the run, but we're pass rush and all that.
That's really where it starts with. Is anytime you can try to make a team one-dimensional, it gives you a good chance to have success that day. And it's you kind of got to step away from the yardage sometimes. I mean, you look at both teams' yardage, and I mean, it really comes down to that. It comes down to turnovers. It comes down to what happens in the penalties. And then, the third down stuff is important. We were better on third down. If we got the first one, the 3 and outs are need to stop. But our defense did a good job of making sure first and second down we're not successful, and then get them to third down with our group of pass rushers. If we get 3rd and 7+, that's ideal for us.
You mentioned, I guess, the tackling a little earlier. Is that something that you feel like has anything to do with the rule change? Or you think that's just?
I mean, you can figure that one out pretty quick. So.
Coach, being around this game for how many years, you've seen some unconventional things. When you heard the story of a player, Vontae Davis, retiring at halftime, just your thoughts on how you're already shaking your head. How crazy is that?
I mean, I don't even know. I'm not. That's for somebody else to worry about. That was a new one for me.
All right, thanks, guys.
Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the interviews. I hope you enjoyed the show. And as always, if you did, please hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends, post on Facebook, whatever. Hit the like button, and definitely leave me some comments, questions, concerns, anything you'd like to see or hear in the videos, stuff like that. So definitely let me know. And of course, the most important thing is subscribe. So with that said, I'll see you guys soon, and fins up.